Good morning, small baby humans.
Hey everybody, it is Monday, November 30th, the last day of November. I hope that you had an excellent fall break, Thanksgiving break, whatever you want to call it. Got a little bit of rest, enjoyed hopefully a decent meal of something that you found to be good, maybe some leftovers. And if you shopped, I hope it was online or extremely socially distanced. So welcome back. It is, if you're one of these people who wants to count down, I believe it's 3 weeks and 2 days of school until we get winter break. A lot to do between now and then, but it'll go by quick, hopefully. So here's the deal for today. If you're watching this, that means you missed class today for some reason, and that's okay. Hope you're well. Hope the people around you are well. And let me know if anything's going on and you need my help, or if there's any way I can make things a little bit better for you. So we're going to roll through the goals for today's slide and then 2 slides of information on things. And then we'll let you go for the day. And remember that you've got Closing the Frontier due tonight. So if you've got any extra time allotted for American history, use that to get that done. So reminders. First of all, a lot of you guys owe me work, a lot. Unfortunately, way more than I would hope to see. And so I'm going to remind you that I will take your work late. You need to get in a classroom or whatever and get that done and get that submitted. As soon as I see it pop up on the to review board, I will I'll work on it, give you feedback, and I can't grade what I don't have, guys. There you go. On that note, I am up to date on grading, except for those of you who have already handed in Closing the Frontier. And at the current moment, things aren't looking good for a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys owe me a lot of things, haven't done much. Attendance has been an issue. So I'm going to tell you right now to make sure and go into Infinite Campus and check out your grade in this class. And if there's something that you can still do, you need to make sure you do it, because as I like to tell people, I usually get you as a freshman. And then I get you again as a junior or a senior, usually your junior year in psychology. I don't usually have you as sophomores. And the reason for that is usually almost everybody passes American history. If you don't want a repeat visit, some of you guys need to get it going. Okay, I don't mean to sound negative, but can't do this stuff for you. I know motivation can sometimes be hard, but there you go. Signing out parent emails this afternoon. And take care of your stuff. All right, we got a test on Friday on Chapter 2, so we're going to take Monday through Thursday this week and wrap up the chapter. Today, we're going to discuss is we're going to do a general slide on Native tribes of the West, just some really general stuff, and then we're going to talk a little bit about one of the treaties of Fort Laramie, the Fort Laramie Treaty. Then I'll give you guys some work time, and as always, please ask questions if you need help. Okay. I'm not getting a lot of people asking for help. Remember, I do those office hours every day from 1 to 1:30. The link to that is in the class rules, which is all the way down in Classroom. If you ever need that, you can just chat me and I can get that to you. Okay, so first new slide for today is on Native tribes. If you are a person who enjoys graphics, that map to the right, on the right side of my screen, really kind of shows Native lands over the years. The first map in the upper right-hand corner is more of a map of what it looked like when the colonies were a thing before America became a country. And as you can see, as we kind of wind around the map, you get closer and closer to the present day, and you can see how that land creeps westward, manifest destiny. And then all of a sudden it just, in that 1880 to 1970, well, in the 1860 to 1879, it definitely shrinks up. But by that 1880 map, there's not a whole lot left. And then kind of centrally located over on this part is the one that shows present day reservations. Not sure that's 100% accurate as of today, but it's not bad. So it gives you an idea of how the land mass, the land area that the tribes lived on shrunk. Okay. So when we're talking about the Native tribes, obviously I know that you guys, if you're a Marshall kid, you did a project last year on this topic. So I'm not going to go into a lot of individual cultural, things. We're not going to talk about who lived in what structure and how they got food and what they wore, because you guys have done that before. And so I want to kind of just give you a general overlook and let you know that there were hundreds of tribes that lived west of the Mississippi River. They ranged in what they did, what they ate, and all those different things. But there were a lot of different cultures. Please don't get the general stereotype that all tribes were the same. That is not true. That isn't even true of the tribes that lived in Wisconsin. Obviously, there are similarities, but the differences greatly outweighed those. Okay, the tribes had generally lived in peace with white people for a while. Now, obviously, not complete peace. You guys learned about the Trail of Tears last year and all those kinds of things. And there was a low conflict rate. Now, obviously, one of the reasons that there's a low conflict rate is when a handful of white fur trappers or a handful of white settlers show up, they can live in unity with the tribes. The tribes are actually very giving of information, very giving of teaching on how to farm in this area, how to hunt, what to look for, what to eat, what not to eat. And so when there were a few whites in the area, there was very low conflict because just the odds of there being a problem were low. Okay, the odds of there being contact was low. But obviously, the railroad was one of the first major things that changed that. When we talk about manifest destiny, one of the things we talk about is we need to transport people, and then we need to permanently settle. And when the railroad is built, the number of white people and freedmen and immigrants from Europe increase in the West to a vast number, where just the amount of conflict is going to be greater because there's more of a chance of contact. When you add to that some of the people that moved to the West found gold, which drew more people west and had more of a use of the land, that is really going to increase the number of conflicts between the tribes and white settlers moving out because of manifest destiny. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on 3 tribes in particular. I kind of wanted to pick 3 that I thought obviously we can't talk about all of them. We don't have that kind of time. But I wanted to pick out 3 that kind of showed you what happened to tribes that approached the white settlers in different ways. And so we're going to talk about the Cheyenne and the Arapaho, but mostly the Cheyenne, who were a tribe that, at least on one major occasion, tried to surrender, and that caused a conflict which raged on for years. We're going to look at the Sioux. That Sioux is Sioux. They're going to be the tribe that fought back, probably had the greatest chance of being successful. Amazing army, great leadership. Really, really gave the U.S. Army fits. And then we're going to talk about the Nez Perce. Actually, we're going to flip the order. We're going to talk about the Nez Perce before we talk about the Sioux. The Nez Perce, there was a conflict. Well, actually, they've been very peaceful. There was a conflict, and they tried to actually run to Canada. But none of those tribes has a happy ending. And so I thought those 3 kind of typified here's what we could do in response to the settlers coming out, and here's what happened to us. Okay. All right. One more slide to look at today, and I'm actually going to use a little doodle. That's why I'm sitting here. The Fort Laramie Treaty of 1851. Now, there were a number of treaties signed at Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie was a meeting place that the U.S. government also often used to meet with Native American tribes. But the one that was signed in 1851 had a lot to do with land and land rights, and really started to show the tribes kind of what the future was going to look like. And so I put down on the side that it was a shady agreement. Now, the reason it was a shady agreement is that the tribes were more or less forced to sign the treaty through intimidation. Kind of the story goes that the army with some native language translators rode around the West and asked the leaders of the major tribes to come to this meeting at Fort Laramie, more or less strong-armed them into coming. And when the leaders showed up, they were presented with the terms that we're going to talk about below, but then they weren't interested in signing. So the leaders were like, no, we're not going to sign this. And the white leaders were like, yeah, we thought that might be the case. And so we don't want to be a complete waste of your time. So we're going to offer you, some food, not poisoned. Everyone always thinks it's going to be poisoned. We're going to offer you some food, and we're going to give you a demonstration while you're eating your food. All right, great. And so the native leaders and their shamans, that's medicine man, religious leader, grab food and they're eating. And the army goes, look over there, up in the distance. Look, we've set up some teepees, we've set up some wigwams, we've set up some, there's some horses over there, some wooden people wearing your clothes. And over here, we have artillery cannons. It's really cool. We have a lot of these. And we want to show you what these things over here can do to your village over there. Okay, so while the natives are eating, they unloaded the cannons on the village, and then more or less was like, oh, who wants to sign the treaty now? And the leadership was more or less intimidated into signing. And so what they agreed to is there are really kind of three parts of the Fort Laramie Treaty. I'm gonna pop up and use the board here. It's not going to be the best, but it's going to be better than nothing. I'll slide this a little bit closer. Okay, a little glare on there, but not too bad. Okay, so the three things that they agreed to is the tribes agreed to give up some of their lands and not bother white settlers. So let's say that this area right here was settled by let's say Tribe A. Call them Tribe A. All right, and they lived on this land. I don't know, it's Wyoming or Colorado or something. They lived on this land and they hunted peacefully, and they had settlements. And if they were nomadic, they followed the thing they hunted. But let's just say that they were pretty. They hunted a little, they farmed a little, they lived kind of in one spot, and this was theirs. Well, Tribe A kind of agrees to give up a chunk of land. So what Tribe A is going to do is Tribe A is going to live in this kind of upper corner here. And white settlers are going to take this part. I don't know, maybe they're going to build a railroad through there or something. Who knows? Okay. Now, the issue is Tribe A is now up here. If the food is down here, they can't go there because they're trapped up here. So they're restricted to what they have on their land. But then let's say that a covered wagon, and I don't draw well, but we'll give this a go. All right, a little covered wagon comes through here. Kind of looks like a wagon. You probably can't see it. Covered wagon comes through this land, and Tribe A, I don't know, they shoot at the wagon. There's a problem or something happens. Well, what would happen is instead of these settlers being told, hey, you screwed up, you weren't supposed to go through there, that was native land, Tribe A might lose an even bigger chunk. Tribe A might now be here. Okay. And so you see, it was really very restrictive to the tribes and really limited their ability to, live freely on the land that they always had. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't think tribal leaders are very happy about that. So what the U.S. government did is they offered them supplies and money. And a lot of times, money obviously had no massive value to them because it was just paper with dead white guys on it. And so that kind of seems a little weird. But the supplies were interesting because we sent them cases of things like forks and spoons and knives. And while you might go, well, those are useful things, they weren't useful to them unless we were trying to Americanize them, trying to, trying to have them live their lives more like we did. The other thing that you hear a lot about is the blankets with diseases. Now, it's not like that was done on purpose. Probably, I hope not. But I mean, think about it. Let's just say that I work in the factory and my gross, disgusting towel I use to clean my boards is a blanket, and I'm working and I'm folding this up, and we know we're going to sling the tribes, but I'm not feeling good today. I'm sick. I don't, whatever's going on. I have the flu. I have the measles. I don't know, whatever's wrong with me. And I'm working on this, and I put it in the case. Okay, the Native Americans open that case. If there's still that bacteria, still that germ, still that disease-carrying agent on there, they're going to get that. The problem is those aren't exactly like the kinds of diseases, viruses that usually natives would have, and so they have no immunity to those things. And so something like the flu kills lots of people. Something like the measles kills lots of people. Chickenpox kills people. And whether that was inadvertent or not, it still has an impact on the Native American populations. Last but not least, we offered to mediate any disputes between tribes. Now, mediate means to be a neutral third party. If the first day we're back, there's a Snickers bar laying in the middle of the hallway, and one of you walks up and goes, "Who's that's mine?" And the other person walks up and goes, "No, it's mine. I just dropped it." And you're going to get ready to fight in the hallway. I walk up and go, "I'll mediate the dispute. I'm going to hear your side of the story. I'm going to hear your side of the story. And then I am going to decide what to do with the candy bar. I'm going to take it myself and go, hey, I'm a fat kid. I'm going to eat this." Okay. But what this really kind of amounted to is, let's say that this land was occupied by, I don't know, Tribe A, and tribe B, and the dividing line was this creek. Okay, it's this creek in the middle of things. So a hunter from tribe A goes out and shoots a buffalo right there. The buffalo stumbles across the river and dies right there. Whose buffalo is it? Well, some of you guys would say, well, tribe A shot it, it's theirs. Some of you guys would say it's tribe B's, and because it died on their land. Well, here's the problem. If tribe A and tribe B are going to come into conflict, oh, don't worry, we're the United States. We will mediate the dispute between your sides. Tribe A goes, oh, we shot the buffalo, it's ours. Tribe B says it dies on our land, it's ours. We go, okay, we have a solution to this. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that there are no further conflicts. You can each have half the buffalo. And then to ensure that there won't be any more problems in the future, tribe A, tribe B, white folks. There's a good way to mediate a dispute. And then, I don't know, train tracks to bring more white folks, digging for gold, stuff like that, okay? And so the Fort Laramie Treaty was really a lopsided treaty that a lot of the tribes were forced to sign, not exactly something that was beneficial to the future of their culture and their life in the West. So there you go. There's today's stuff. Please work on closing the frontier. If you have any questions, please make sure and let me know. Happy last day of November, guys. It's going to be cold and snowy before we know it. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.